I gotta say, it is so cool being able to see a Mark III variant, a Mark III Golf, and a Mark III Jetta all in one spot. All we're missing is a Mark III Cabrio, and we would literally have every variation of the Mark III in one spot. It would be so cool. As you guys saw yesterday, we put a new fuel pump in this car, but still it will not run properly. It won't even start at all, basically. The starter sounds very bad, and I'm pretty sure it's down to compression. So today we'll be compression testing the variant here just to see where the cylinders are at, and more than likely, if they're down, I'm gonna just halt anything I'm doing, and the car will go back to the shop that originally built the engine, and they can go through all of it, pull it out, and just make sure it's running properly, because I do not have the tools or the knowledge to do all that kind of stuff. But I do know how to compression test, so we'll try it today. And then after we compression test the car, I'm gonna lift it up, drain the oil out of it, and just see if there's any debris or what kind of carnage might be in there. Hopefully there's nothing there, meaning the engine's still okay, but never know. It didn't sound too happy yesterday, so we'll see what we get today. Check this out. It is 50 degrees. This is like summertime weather. Also, look at this. Rain, rain, rain. It's been raining all day long. It literally just stopped finally, so I came outside to start this real quick. But it's been just so annoying. Just look at this. Rain. It's all rain until tomorrow. It just doesn't stop. It does not stop. We've got our Pittsburgh compression tester here. Got from Steve yesterday. So go ahead and see how the car is. Honestly, I would rather push the car into here and then work and not worry about the rain, but my whole entire driveway from that side and from this side all slants that way, and there's tons of little like divots and little valleys. This car is heavy. It's a wagon and it's all-wheel drive. This car weighs so much, and I just can't push it myself. I know for a fact it was a pain for me and Steve to push it to here because this is all uphill, but I can probably roll the car to there, and then that's probably as far as it'll go. So unfortunately the car will be right here, but it's okay. As long as the rain stays away, we're fine. So if you've never compression tested an engine before, it's actually quite simple. A few things for the VR6 at least. You want to undo your coil pack right here. You want to pull out your fuel pump relay so the car's not actually pushing any fuel. It's just turning the thing over. Then you want to pull out the plug that you're checking, the cylinder you're checking. Pull this out, pull the spark plug out, screw in the adapter that fits, connect it to your gauge here, and then you go from there. Very, very straightforward, very easy to do. So hopefully this one actually wants to even turn over at all, and we can get a reading. So on a VR6, we have cylinder 1, 3, and 5 in the back, and then 2, 4, 6 on the front side. According to the Bentley, a new engine VR6 should be somewhere in the ballpark between 145 to 189 PSI for each cylinder. Now, obviously, this is not a new engine. It's also a boosted engine, so I'm pretty sure it has a head spacer to change the compression ratio, but we should still be somewhere, I would assume, somewhere close to that 140 to 180 range. Anything less than that, probably there's some damage somewhere inside of there. I'm gonna start up here in the front on cylinder number 2, and we'll work our way around. And I actually just spotted on injector number 1, I'll show you guys in a second. Injector number 1 right here, there's actually a leak where it goes into the manifold over here. So that also might be an issue. I don't see any other leaks besides just number 1. I know he had recently swapped these out to bigger ones to have to push more fuel, but this one might have a bad O-ring. All right, those look to be okay, so we'll keep this over here. Let me grab, I think it'll be this one, possibly. No, too small. This one. All right, so this will get screwed into here. And I don't see like any oil or like fuel right there, so that's a good sign. Screw this into this one. Make sure it's nice and tight so it doesn't leak. All right, then we connect this to here. All right, so now, once I pull the coil pack one's already off, once I pull the fuel pump relay off, we can go ahead and try and crank the car and just see what we get. Hopefully it's not down here in the red, because that's never good. And then if you look down here, right there around cylinder 1, you can see where the fuel has been leaking. I don't know how long it's been doing that, but you can see all down in there that there's a little leak going on. So I don't know if the O-ring is just bad or what's actually happening, but I'll check that out too. It's kind of funny when you first like look at this engine bay, it seems just like crazy. Like my engine is just a VR6. There's nothing over here, nothing over here. It's just like this. It's very clean and simple. But with the VR6, you have all these pipes, all these wires and stuff going everywhere. At first it was a bit like just crazy to me, but now after seeing it for a few days, I can tell where everything's at. It's just a lot more stuff going on than what I have in mind. So here we have the factory fuel pump relay that I pulled that out, and I also pulled this one here off because this is the one that ties in that goes for his secondary high flow fuel pump. So both of those are out. That one we turn the key here, nothing. So everything's off, which is good. Now we can go ahead and try and compression test the car and see what it does. All right, let's see if the car will even crank. I might have to pull the wagon back over and hook it up, but fingers crossed it actually wants to at least do something. And no, it's not. Is it dead? The whole car actually just died and reset. Hold on, let's try it again. When it goes to 0, 0, that's like the car is dead. It reset. Interesting. So I don't know if it's just that dead, or if the starter's dead, or what's going on. I'm gonna go grab the wagon and hook up to this car real quick and try it once, but if it still just clicks and doesn't do anything, we'll probably just leave it at that. So even with the car hooked up to the wagon over there, as soon as you turn the key, you get one click and everything just dies. And then, yeah. So I'm gonna try the battery out of my VR6. That battery is brand new. That might be the problem for this car. The battery might either be like super dead, or it might be the starter died as well. But I can try the battery real quick and just see what happens. We're gonna snag the battery out of Miley here, and while we're here, we might as well get a cold start. Ooh, it's been a minute. Give her a second. That's my girl. It looks so simple compared to the VR6 Turbo. Like, there's nothing over here. It's all like open back there. So much different. Not gonna lie to you guys, I totally forgot my battery's in the trunk and not the front. Pull the car forward a little bit, I can go ahead and get it to the trunk and pull the battery out. All right, we got ourselves a big old battery. Hopefully this will start the other car. So we got a fresh battery in the car. Let's see if we have any different results than before. Whether she wants to actually crank this time, or if it does the exact same thing. Exact same thing. So we know the battery in this car, out of my car, is good just for my car, and that battery's only a few months old. It's pretty much brand new. That's not the issue. So I'm thinking either the starter is bad and it's not able to spin the engine, or the engine itself is just not wanting to rotate at all. One or the other, but for now, we can't compression test the car because I can't get it to turn over, and I'm not gonna try and just force her or try anything else. So that is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and lift the car up, drain the oil, and just see if we have anything in there. If there's nothing in there, then I don't know. Like I said, he's already talking to the shop to see if we can get the car over there. It's about an hour away, and they're the ones who actually built all of this. They have the tools to pull this out, go through the entire thing, and see what's actually wrong with it. So I've been talking to good old Mr. Greg throughout this entire process. He said it might possibly be the starter. He said I should try and manually rotate the engine. Just getting a big ratchet down on the crank plate on there, rotate the engine by hand. If I can do that, I can get a compression reading still. But if even by hand I can't get the engine to rotate at all, then something inside here is locked up. But if it does spin freely and there's no issue there, we get actual reading, then might possibly be just a starter. So with the car now up in the air, I can get a ratchet in there on the crank pulley and manually just rotate the engine, and hopefully it actually spins freely. All right, let's see if we can't get some movement here. And this is a 27mm socket, by the way. Let's see if we got any movement here. All right, well, it's moving pretty easily too. So I don't think, I'll do a few here, but to make sure. That should be the top of one of the cylinders there, because it's getting kind of tight. But no, yeah, it spins very easily. So I don't believe the engine itself is locked up, which is very good. Oh, right there, kind of got really tight. Hang on. Right there, it's done. Well, I might have spoke too soon. Wherever I'm at right here is like just, this section's locked. It was spinning real nicely for a second, but that doesn't move anymore. And I know what it feels like when it gets like tight for the compression when it's hitting the top, but this feels like it's just straight, just like stuck. Interesting. Let me tell Greg my my findings here and see what he thinks. But it moved for a minute. I can move it forward and backwards for a certain amount before it actually locks up. Unless the compression's just that high that I can't rotate it fully. But like, yeah, it spins nicely for a little while and then it just like locks up. So I just texted Greg and let him know what just happened. I can take the crank pulley and spin it almost all the way around, and then it just locks and hits a wall, and it just does not budge past that wall that I'm hitting. And I can go back the other way very, very easily, and then again hits that wall and just locks up. So I'm thinking where the engine was before was right at that wall, which is why the starter could not turn it at all. But we'll see what Greg says. All right, so talking to Greg here, he said, does it lock up in the same spot? I said, it seems like it's hitting that same wall, whether I go forward or backwards, it's hitting that exact same spot and just locking up. And he said, uh-oh. And he said, bottom end is most likely toast, which like I said, before I even got in the car, it wasn't running, wouldn't turn on. Steve has said he had heard that metal sound we heard in yesterday's video once or twice when the car would finally like, crank over just a little bit. But then he still wanted me to try and put the fuel pump in the car and then try it. And then he wanted me to try the compression test it today. But I think the bottom end is it's just locked up and it's not going to move. So yeah, I mean, I've done all I can do. I don't have the tools or the resources or that kind of stuff to pull the engine of the car. But if it's a bottom end, the shop that built that car needs to pull it back out and go through all of it. I can still drain the oil just to see. There may be nothing there, but it might be worth doing. Oh, Greg said, don't try and compression test it. Well, it's not worth trying to compression test it. 99% he snapped a connecting rod. So we'll see. So there might be some metal shavings in the oil pan. I'm gonna go ahead and drain it here in a second. But yeah, I can't rotate the engine. So I don't think it's the starter. I think just the engine is just locked right there. So yeah, Ripperino VR6 turbo. But hopefully we can get back to the shop in not too long and they can take a look at it and just go through it. But again, just reiterate, this is nothing that I did. Before anyone blames me for this, the car was already not running. He's tried a bunch of different things. It wouldn't start. He heard the metal sound before I even got the car, but he still wanted me to try the fuel pump and he wanted me to try and compression test it. And those just basic things, which at this point we can't do because it's locked up now. It was rotating yesterday. It was rotating before, but maybe just trying it a few times yesterday. It locked it up completely, but either way, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen anyways. It was already broken and on the verge of doing that, so nothing I could have done would have saved it or made it any better. So hopefully very soon I'm gonna call Steve in a minute and let him know what happened for today, and then we can figure out a way to get the car to the shop, which is about an hour away, and then they can go through the whole entire thing and just fix whatever needs to be fixed. Gotta go fast and drain the oil out of this car because we are running out of light. What are you guys thinking? Gonna be some metal bits and surprises for us in there? We'll see. All right, so the oil's out of the car. I didn't really see, I guess maybe a few little pieces like those right there. Right there. There's a few little pieces, looks like here and there. You can see them. That one there. The little bits right there. There's some over here. So those might be part of it. Like I said, Greg said he's 99% sure that it's a rod that went, and it's why it's locked up. But there are a few pieces here. There might be bigger chunks that are actually in the oil pan, but I have to actually drop the entire thing off the car to check that out. But at least for now, there are a little bit of metal bits. You can see them floating around right here. These couple right there. These couple right there. So definitely something major went wrong inside there. So unfortunately for right now, Ripperino Wagon, because something in the bottom end is broken, snapped, mangled, something happened, and that is why the car is no longer running. It may have also been a mix of the fuel pump as well, but we won't be sure until this car goes to a shop and they go through the entire thing and we know exactly what happened. Like I said, I'm gonna call Steve here in a minute and just update him from today. I know the car, when they built the engine, it had upgraded pistons, because obviously it went from a 2.9 to a 3.0. They bored it larger, they had upgraded pistons in it. I don't know if he said they did upgraded rods or not. I can't remember what he said. I'm gonna ask him and see. All right, so it's been a few hours and I've spoken to Steve. I told him the entire situation. That the metal noise he heard before I got the car was the same that I heard yesterday. And then more than likely what from Greg said, and I trust Greg's word almost all the time because Greg knows just about everything, that maybe it's just a rod that has snapped. or something like that. I can't, until they pull it apart, we won't know exactly what's wrong down there, but there was metal shavings in the oil that came out. There's probably some more, I would assume, in the pan after they pulled it off. But I let him know what's going on, so we're gonna go from here and figure out what he wants to do. And then just a quick little side note, if I said anything wrong today, referred to a certain piece or anything wrong, just know I said I'm not an expert in this at all. I'm still learning. I've done a lot of stuff with engines, but mostly I've worked on fixing external pieces of the engine. I've never had a failure like this where a possible rod in the bottom end is broken and something like that. I've had external pieces messed up. Even with my VR6, the guy machined the head wrong, so I had no compression, but again, all the pieces were there. I've never had an internal piece of the engine actually break like this. So like I said, if I said anything wrong, I apologize. This is still all very new to me, and I'm just trying to learn as best I can. And then hopefully once the car is actually at the shop, it'd be pretty cool to actually get in there and actually talk to the person who actually built the engine and just learn more about all that kind of stuff that they did, and then also see the part that actually failed and like why it failed. Okay, enough engine talk. We are making dinner again tonight. So I had a few of you guys say it was kind of cool to watch me cook. So we have fish, shrimp, asparagus, we have the mushrooms here, we have some potatoes to cut up and do in the oven. Gonna get us a nice little fancy dinner going tonight. All right, everything's just about done. Just waiting on the, about 5 more minutes, potatoes, and they're ready to go. First meal we did was the chicken Alfredo, and it came out pretty good, but like this one, what do you think? Yeah, this one came out pretty good. This light is making this GoPro go crazy. It's like a disco on my plate here. Either way, looks really good. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I spoke to Steve already, and we're just waiting to hear what he wants to do with the vehicle. And as I know, I'll update you guys. But something very, very cool to kind of end off on a different note. I got the picture of the center caps that Danny and Sammy are doing back from today. The picture, like these things, like the rendering look cool. But, like to see these things actually like legit done looks so cool. So we sent them out today, I believe, and we should see them in probably about say a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so. But these things look so awesome. Check these things out. Like, tell me those don't look so good. The OG PowerTech logo, the little VR6 accent down there, the color matches my car. I cannot wait to get these things. So again, Danny, Sammy, thank you guys so much. Those things look absolutely insane. I cannot wait to put them on the car. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to be thankful for this day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.